Hi guys. All right, I'm still trying to use up this tray. As you know from my previous video, I had mentioned in a few videos over the past months, year, that I really wanted to get rid of this paper tray, which has really little dumb scraps, like tiny little scraps. Look at this. This is trimmed off a tag the other day. Just all little random paper scraps. Like, look at this. Why would you keep that? You wouldn't. Look at this. What is that? Anyway, I wanted to use this up. So I had joked that I would like to do a use it till it's gone series, and but I didn't think I could do it because this tray looks little, but it's so hard to make a dent in it. Anyway, so because so many of you said that you'd like to see me use it till it's gone, I have started a series. So this is the second video in that. So I have set up a hashtag, use it till it's gone. Yeah, till, T-I-L, instead of until. It just sounded better. Anyway, I'm going to keep using stuff out of this tray without adding to it until this is gone, gone, gone. Now, I don't know how many projects I can possibly think of to use all of this up. It's just so hard to use. And, you know, some things I wouldn't normally keep this. See this? I wouldn't normally keep it. It's just sometimes when I clean my desk at the end of the day, I kind of just swipe all the little scraps into here just to tidy up. And, yeah, sometimes little bits get caught up in this tray like this. But since it's in there, I'm going to use it. Anyway, so you saw the tags on the previous video. I'll put a link to that in the comments box if you missed it. I've also started a playlist, and that playlist is use it till it's gone. And you'll see this one is the small scrap, the tray of small paper scraps. Because I would like to do this with some other materials at a later stage. I've got this giant big blue bag of fabric scraps that I showed years ago. It's still hanging around. It's sitting right behind me. So there's a playlist, which I'll put all the videos for this paper tray into, but I'll use that use it till it's gone hashtag. If you want to join me and use that hashtag and tag me in at Bonny and Clive so that I can see your videos, because you don't have to use up your paper tray. Maybe you're trying to use up something else. I don't know. Could be papers. It could be a pile of envelopes. It could be, I don't know, a pile of junk mail or food packaging or whatever. Just get something in your craft room that's bugging you and let's use it until it's gone. I know there's a hashtag going around, use it or lose it, but I'd rather use it than lose it. Anyway, what I'm doing today, get on with it. I've made a few already. These are... Look, I often put little paper scraps down the side of pages and fabric scraps, but these are just little paper scraps out of this tray. And I've sewn them straight onto the page. I haven't used any glue or anything. Actually, it's quite straight. I'm quite surprised because when you sew this, you can't see the edge of the page. So you're kind of guided only by the other side of the page. But let me show you. So I hope you can see okay. I'll show you closer up at the end. Just little itty bitty paper scraps from that tray with a small zigzag stitch. I've left the threads on. I like that look. I may cut them off later. I don't know. So I've done a few already, and I thought I'll do a few with you to show you how I do them. Obviously, it's just sewing paper scraps to a coffee dyed page. But you may be wondering how I handle and sew those little bits. I love them. I just think they're so awesome. I love putting in a little pop of colour with all the neutrals here and there. But yeah, there's some ridiculous scraps in there. When I was sitting here, you know, shuffling through that tray, the most ridiculous scraps. Look, there were a few bits of, I don't know if you can see that, but that's the mesh off the spine of a book. You know when you pull a book apart and it's got the brown paper or some other paper and the spine, the bits of mesh. I always keep those. I think they look nice in clusters and stuff. Bits of brown paper, but it's even doing this has been a bit of a challenge because all the I feel I've got no good scraps in there. It's all little bits of book page and brown paper and boring little pieces. No, you know, delicious looking little pieces. There's a few bits of painty paper and that in there. Bit of magazine. I don't know why that was in there, so I've put that in. Look, this was just one skinny strip that I think was from when I trimmed the painted edges off the magazines that I had painted to make those little paper wallets. But I think they just look gorgeous, don't they? Anyway, so if you're wondering why I've done this, you'll see I've also left bits hanging over the edge here and there. So when you make your journal and you fold your page up, I just think it looks nice. I think it's a really easy, nice embellishment. Bits hanging over the page. And you can make them if you don't like the little bits hanging over the page. You know, you can just trim them after you sew them. I quite like them, so leave the threads if you want. I've used a dark brown thread. That's usually what I use. I tend to use whatever thread's in my machine. So if I had a red thread in there at the moment, I would just sew with red thread. I'm not fussed on colours. I don't try and match thread colours. Unless I'm maybe sewing a journal cover, then I'll change. But I'm a bit blind, so I don't like to go changing my sewing thread that often. I just usually have dark brown in there. Plus, it's the colour I like. Anyway, so that's another one. See, there's some really skinny little scraps. Okay, so bits of yellow envelope. Oh, it's ridiculous. There's a few little bits of stamped pieces in there. This was a bit of, it looked like bandage. I don't know where that's from. Maybe pulling apart a book. It was a bit thick for a spine, I think. I don't know, but goodness knows what's in there. Okay, this was some dark brown paper. It was the end page of a cookbook, I think. There's bits of manila folder in there, you name it. Okay, so what I did, I wasn't gluing them. If you find it easier to glue, yeah, glue it. Do it however you find it the easiest. Usually when I sew things, I tend not to glue them because I'm sewing them. Also, you'll see mine, because I've not glued them and sewn them, you know, you can put your nail under them. They can lift a bit. If you don't like that, you can glue them down before or after you sew them. Doesn't matter. Anyway, so I don't even know where to start when I do this, honestly, because the scraps are just ridiculous. Let me just clean this. Okay, now what I was doing, I had cleaned off my desk because I was working on something else after, but I'll show you what I did originally. As I was pulling stuff out, I was putting aside the bigger strips because, see, that's a bigger piece. Because this is a good way to get rid of the little strips. See, there's another piece of, I don't know, some sort of lacy, I don't know, something. Anyway, I was pulling out the bigger pieces just because I feel that this is a good way just to use the little ones, and these bigger ones I'll do something else with. So I kind of gave it a sort. Any different little papers like map and stuff like that, I kind of kept aside. Bit of, this was a paint wipe off book page. I kept aside because sometimes I like to put a little pop of colour in there. But, oh gosh, oh, it's ridiculous. Somebody help me. Okay, anyway, so you get the idea. As I'm working, if I find bigger pieces, I'll pull them out. I don't go fishing for them, looking for them. Oh, yeah, some of these, it's really hard to use. See, I'm pulling these out. These aren't even big pieces. But for this tray of rubbish, they kind of are. So I'd like to keep the big pieces because I feel that I'm going to have trouble coming up with different projects to use up this whole tray. Short of putting them in the blender and making handmade paper. Which may be my final way of getting rid of the little odds and pods. See, that's a whole dictionary page, a little mini one. Okay. Let's get on with it. Yeah, look, I can't even get started with all this bigger stuff on top. This was a page out of a fabric sample book. It's really thick. Okay, so I've got all these little bits. Let's get rid of those. Ooh, there's a nice big piece. Okay, and then all I did, I may need to move you to my sewing machine, but I'll show you how I started it. I tried to start with a kind of a nice little piece, if I could. Look, this is bookend as well. Look, it's, sorry, book spine. It's got a bit of meshy stuff in there. Oh gosh. Okay, I'm going to start with this little piece. So I just got my little starting piece, which I don't even know how to start now. I should have filmed this yesterday while I was on a roll. I just got any little pieces to start. Made a little tiny sandwich, and then I started with that. Oh, I need a wider piece. See, I'm actually making even smaller pieces as I go. Okay, so I'm going to start with this. I'll move you to my sewing machine and I'll show you how I sew it as I go. Okay, I've just got my sewing machine on a small zigzag stitch. Okay, now I hope you can see okay. It's very hard to film sewing, so I just take my little paper stack and pop it under. Okay, I hope you can see okay. Okay, just backstitch a little. So I sew it part of the way down. Then when I almost get to the end, I add my next little bits of paper. So I go back to my little paper tray and I get another scrap of paper, another little stack. And I'm really trying to pick these unusable little pieces out. I've been popping those on top because what else am I going to do with those? See these? I just make another little sandwich. It's hanging out a bit too much. Okay, then I just kind of shove it at the end of the other paper stack. Sometimes it's hard to keep these little thin pieces exactly where you want them. Now if I can get a longer piece like this, that's good because I don't have to stop start as much. Okay, I know you can't see me shuffling in my little paper tray, but I'll just show you how I sew them first, and then I'll move you back and show you me stacking the little papers. So here I've got a little piece of green that I don't want too much of it showing, so I'll pop it underneath with just a little edge showing. And here's another piece of that trimmed painted magazine. So I'm going to put this guy on top and use it up. As I go, I will just add other little bits underneath to make sure I've got bits hanging out over the side. And just trying to get some varied pieces as well that look different, because it's all, like I said, book pages and white bits. It's all kind of the same. It's a little bit of paper with paint splatter. I've got a lot of little bits of the side of book pages. So I've got a little bit of orange page here. I don't want much of that showing. These little tiny thin stupid bits I try and also add in. Oops, didn't put my needle down. I try and add in as I go, because I have no idea how I will get rid of those later if I don't try and use them up now. Okay, that's one. I'll show you that one in a minute. That one one actually looks really nice. Okay, I'll do one more at the machine and then I'll show you the top view again. Okay. I need another little paper stack. Another bit of book spine. I'll use that. Also need some contrast because the coffee dyed paper and a lot of the scraps in here are kind of the same colour. So this I'll put onto a darker bit of brown paper, and I'll put some book page underneath. I'm basically just going to use those 3 layers to get started, and then I'll add bits as I go. Oops. Definitely try and hide these little white bits in under there. That's some map. Okay, here's some itty bitty scraps. See, like this. Now with those little pieces, you just got to make sure that the stitching catches them to hold them down. So I've got little pieces like this that I try and hang over the edge. Look at this stupid bit. Look at that. Tiny pieces. Let's shove them all in. Get rid of them. And as you go, just keep putting little bits in if you want to hang out over the edge. Look at this. See what I mean? Now, normally I wouldn't keep scraps like those, but since they are in my tub and I've committed to using them, I'm going to try and use them. Okay, I've got some brown paper bag in here as well, which is the printing from, this looks like it was a Red Rooster bag. Sometimes I will put the coloured side on the top, just so I get a little pop of colour in there. Okay, I'll move you back up the top. Okay, so these are the 2 we've just done. So that's that really thin strip of magazine page. I think a little bit of colour in there looks quite nice. It's the back, bits hanging over. And this is the other one we just did. This is looking a bit too white for me. I might ink it a little. tone it down a little. Okay, that's better. That's the back. This one went a wee bit wonky. But anyway, I think they look really nice. Okay, so I've got a nice little pile brewing. Look how nice they look. I should make a journal where all the paper pages are scrap paper trimmed like this. I think it looks awesome. Actually, maybe I should do that with this bundle. I could do the other side so that when they're folded together, imagine how cool that would look. I know, now I really want to do that. I might. I think I'm going to do the other side of these. Okay, let's continue on. I'll also show you at the end of each project of the Use It Till It's Gone series. I'll also show you, I'll leave a picture at the end of the video of what the tray's looking like, and we'll see if it's gone down. Seriously, it just doesn't go down, does it? No, it doesn't. Okay, let's do another one. Okay, so these bits really annoy me, so I'm trying to use those up. Special bits like this, I've been putting there so I can find them when I need them. Okay, let's get on with it. These are the bits I really want to get out of here. These dumb little white bits. It's so hard though. Alright. We'll make this one a little bit fatter. You could also, if you're trying to use up threads, you could also put threads in here. I do need to use up threads, but I don't want to go getting sidetracked. I need to stay on target. See, there's just no nice juicy dark pages in here. Maybe some of this. Okay, so I'm going to start with that at the top of the page. Okay, so you won't see me sewing, but you will see me scrap building, and then I'll show you the page at the end. Need more scraps. See the white pieces? I just try and peep a little bit out the back. I don't want too much showing. Okay, these are the little dumb pieces that I've really been trying to get rid of out of here. Oh, there's a little butterfly. Okay, now I'm just shuffling for no reason. I also try when I take each little bundle to sew and I add it onto my paper, I want them to look like it's one long piece. You know, I don't want it to look like it's all these tiny little paper clusters sewn together. I want it all to look cohesive, if that makes any sense. This was part of my children's school notes. I must have coffee dyed purple school note at some stage. Actually, I don't think I'm working the same as I was yesterday. I think because I know I'm filming it, I'm shuffling. Yesterday when I was working, I was just picking off the top. I don't know. It's harder to do it when you're watching. I think it's because I feel like I need to find that perfect piece when I'm filming it. Whereas if I'm just doing this all by myself, I don't do all this shuffling about. Let's get rid of this yellow. Be gone with you. I do need a little piece to go on top. Okay, I'll finish this one and then I'll show you the finished pages. Ooh, there's some map. Okay, so that's the page we've just done. Whoops, went a little bit wonky on that one. That's okay. And I think this little piece is just hanging out a tad too much. That's better. Whoops, see, this piece has come up because I didn't sew it straight down the center, but I will just glue that baby down. I don't want to tear it off because then it'll go back into my scrap tray, won't it? So we'll just glue him down. Okay. Okay, so that's it. They're my scrap paper trimmed pages. And like I said, now I think I'm going to sew the other sides of the pages so that I have a signature that is just all scrap sewn pages. I don't know why that appeals to me so much, but it does. I think it'll look awesome. Okay, so I'll go ahead with that. And then you'll see that coming up in a journal at some stage. Okay, so I've sewn a couple of pages on the other side as well. So this is how they'd be if I were to put them in a signature. I think they look so nice all together. Imagine a whole journal of that. Scrappy deliciousness. Okay, let's have a look at a few of them. Itty bitty scraps. Now they're not as time consuming as it looked in the video. If you're sitting there doing it by yourself, you tend to work a lot quicker. Now if you want to join me in using up something that has accumulated in your craft room, could be anything, fabric, paper, food packaging, cardboard, buttons, whatever it is, offcuts, could be tissue paper, napkins, something that you've got so much of you just want to get rid of it all. Oops, they're still to be sewn. Yeah, join me. Use it till it's gone. And that's it. Thanks for watching. Bye.